Fire for them, fire for them. If you're looking for that 35 bag umbrella and all damn thing there, keep it locked with DISUNOMICS podcast.
Yo, what's good, people? Welcome back to another episode of DISUNOMICS Monday Morning News. Let's get straight into it. Firstly, travel update. What the streets have been waiting for, but not really what the streets have been waiting for. Transport Sec Grant Shapps on Friday early evening around 5 p.m. gave us the news we've been waiting for, how travel is going to come back. Now, there's three types of lists, well, there's really two lists of where a country could be in. The green list and the red list. And then anyone in between is an amber, so it's a traffic light system. So green list, these are countries where you can travel to and you won't have to quarantine upon arrival. So when you come back to the UK, you will have to quarantine. All you have to do is book a PCR test on the second day post-arrival. So let's say you arrive on a Sunday, by the Tuesday or something, you'll have to do a PCR test. And of course, you'll have to have some form of COVID tests before you return and before you fly out. Now, if you're on the red list, this is similar to before. If you're a non-UK resident, you can't come in. So if you're from these countries, they will not allow you in the country. But if you are a UK citizen, you shouldn't be flying to these countries except for very extreme circumstances. And on your way back, you will have to get a quarantine hotel. Check out my videos on the quarantine hotel. You're paying almost £2,000 in total for the 2 PCR tests, the transportation from the airport to the hotel, and of course your 10-day stay at the hotel. So many people don't want to do that. And if it's an amber country, so a country that's on neither list, you will have to quarantine for 10 days upon arrival back into the UK. And you have to take a PCR test on the 2nd day and the 8th day of your 10-day quarantine. Now you can do a quarantine release on the 5th day, but I think that's significantly more expensive. So there's going to be information on that, so make sure you check that out. So this is the current transport rules confirmed by the Transport Secretary. Now, the interesting thing is the list. So there was loads of rumors about the list. We were here in Dubai, we were here in USA. I was talking to my friends about Vegas. It was meant to be lit, right? Anticlimactic. There was, in fact, only 12 countries detailed on the travel green list. Now, the criteria for these countries are: 1, in terms of there's no real high prevalence of COVID in these countries; 2, there's no real threat of different variants; and number 3, the vaccine process in these countries are very strong. Now, here's the list of the green countries. Portugal, shout out Afro Nation goers, you may be in luck. I think they said Afro Nation did post that by the 28th of May, they should find out. Israel, Gibraltar, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, Brunei, Iceland, the Falkland Islands, the Faroe Islands, South Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands, St. Helena, Tristan da Cunha, Ascension Island. Now, I can't lie, some of these countries, I didn't even know they existed. I didn't even know they're real, on a bikini bottom vibe. Like, you might as well say bikini bottom, bro. Like, but none of these countries, for a lot of travelers I see from the comments on my Insta posts and on Twitter, people weren't best pleased with these countries. People probably wanted to see Spain or France, the States, Dubai, maybe Bali. I'm just throwing out popular destinations, Greece, etc. Those countries have not been added to the list yet. Now, Grant Shapps did mention that this list will be reviewed every 3 weeks. You may see other countries. And he did warn that countries can be added and removed from either list at the drop of a hat. There's going to be no warning. They're going to give you a 5-day warning. They could, any fucking time, bro, it can happen just like that. So imagine you are, I don't know, flying to France, for example. Currently amber things, whatever. As you're in France, you're on a 5-day trip. On the 3rd day, they told you, yo, France is on the red list as of now. Now you have to book a quarantine hotel before you get back. That's an extra 1,800 plus of expenses on your head top, just out the blue. So traveling is still a very, very dicey situation. Now, in terms of the red list, they did add a few countries. The Maldives, Turkey, and Nepal were added. So some people who may want to go to Turkey for cosmetic, you know what I mean, a young upgrade for the summer, but it's looking spooky for you. It's funny, some people are actually going to Dubai via Turkey to avoid the red listing. Turkey got added anyway. So it's very, very spooky. So these rules come into play from the 17th of May. And what is also interesting is that somebody from Border Force was on and saying, yeah, it's going to be a bit longer at the gates. So usually when you go through Border Force, they say it takes roughly 25 seconds. They're saying it could be anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes per passenger. So that's going to cause longer delays and what have you may. And this is because they're going to be checking 100% of passengers, they said. What they mean by checking, they're going to be making sure that you have booked your PCR test, making sure that if you're coming from a red list country, you have also booked your quarantine hotel. So it seems that, according to the Border Force, there's going to be no real swerving of these requirements. So traveling is going to be a bit more pricey. Now, the government have said that they've managed to drive the PCR prices down, but that is something that remains to be seen. So, boy, it's looking, I don't know, traveling at the moment is looking somehow, because even if you're going to an amber country, if your PCR tests are costing £100, £120, that's an extra £200 on your travel, just like that. And the thought of being put on the red list while mid-flight or whatever is absolutely nuts to me. God forbid, bad thing. So yeah, that's the latest travel news. Comment below, let me know what you think. Tell me the countries that you want to travel to and what you hope to see put on the green list, and I'll comment as well. Now, this week, it was a pivotal week. My previous podcast last week was on the London elections, the local elections, and we do have results that came through very late on Saturday evening. Sadiq Khan retains his position as Mayor of London, defeating Sean Bailey, the Conservative candidate. The final vote, so how the London mayor election votes, there's, when you go to the booth, so I went to vote on Thursday, you vote your first preference and then your second preference. So in the first round, Sadiq Khan and Sean Bailey were the two victors that they go into the final round. Sadiq Khan won 45% of the first preferences compared to Sean Bailey's 36%. In the second round, Sadiq Khan had 55.2% compared to Bailey's 44.8%. Why this is interesting, because the polls had it wider for Mr. Khan. The polls had him around 41%, so he slightly outperformed the polls by 4%. But they had Bailey down at 28%, who got up to 36%, which is very interesting because the Conservative Party didn't even believe in him either. Like, they pulled the support, they pulled funding from him weeks in advance. So it's actually very, very interesting that Bailey made it that close. Now, what analysts are saying at the moment is that the voter turnout was low, so that kind of fared in his favour, and especially in inner city working class vote was low, whereas on the suburbs where Tory voters in London you're mainly like to see them, their voter turnout was not as low, they still came up to vote. So this is what people believe made it a bit closer. Now, in terms of the total votes, Sadiq Khan got 1.2 million. Sean Bailey got just under 980,000, so 977,000. And then the next down was Sean Bailey from Green with 198,000, so significantly further down. And then Louisa Porritt, Liberal Democrats, 111,000. Now, funny enough, fifth place was Nico Omenana, a independent and an actual YouTuber. He was just on a wind up. His manifesto was just jokes, like, it was just ridiculous. He got 49,000 votes. Why is this interesting? Because he beat Lawrence Fox. So Lawrence Fox, he's a former actor. He's part of a new party that's been endorsed by Nigel Farage called the Reclaim Party. They're meant to be like a more cultural UKIP, whatever. Some of their key things is, we're fighting the wokeness and political correctness. We want tougher stances on knife crime in London, all that type of stuff, just anti-work, blah, blah, blah. Now, this is funny because this is a candidate that's had a lot of funding delivered, and he lost to somebody who's there for just vibes, which just personally warms my heart. So yeah, that is the London election results. Let me know, did you vote? If you didn't, let me know why. And also, who did you vote for and why? And finally, to wrap up, following on from this, I'm on a podcast on this, so check that out. It should be dropping around the same time as this. Labour Party Infighting. So in the local elections, yesterday Khan won. We had a Liverpool mayor, we had a Bristol mayor for London, for Labour, and also Manchester, Andy Burnham. he won as well convincingly. But in general, in the local elections, Labour got slapped. Absolutely slapped. Now, usually, these local elections, traditionally, you're more likely to see the opposition party do better because people complaining about what the party in power is currently doing. Not in this instance, Labour got slapped. Now, they have lost 7 councils, the Tories have gained 12. In terms of councillors, they've lost 301 seats. The Tories have gained 241. Labour losing key regions, for example, the by-election in Hartlepool. Since 1974, Hartlepool has been Labour. And the Tories slapped them up in that region. Had almost double their votes. Yeah? So this has caused a massive, massive fallout. Like, I was watching elections all day, the coverage all day on Friday and quite a bit on Saturday as well. You had loads of Labour people, some people blaming Corbyn, some people blaming Keir Starmer. We've had all types of fallout. So I saw, I think the Birmingham MP, I forgot his name, whatever. Anyway, he's basically resigned from the front rank saying, yo, basically, we've forgotten our base of the working class. We're too busy trying to be some woke social media party, too busy caring about statues than actual working class people. Like, and that's a lot of sentiment that's been said. Even Ian MacDonald, former shadow chancellor, he was saying, yeah, but since 2005 even, we have not been really paying attention to the working class, and it's shown in the results. Now, this is very embarrassing for Keir Starmer because obviously you get fist up, and there's been immediate fallout today, as in Saturday, as I'm recording. So he has effectively sacked Angela Rayner, the deputy leader of Labour, and she was the chairman and the campaign coordinator. She's been sacked from both roles. There's talks of her having a different shadow chancellor role because she can't be sacked from deputy leader as she was voted democratically by the Labour Party members. So she's the first candidate to go. Now, some people are saying this is spooky. People are saying you're just kind of blaming her. You're trying to deflect the blame. On Friday, you're saying I'll take full accountability, but the next day you're firing your deputy. Like, what? So, for example, John McDonnell, I don't know why I called him McDonnell, former chancellor, said that it's cowardly and avoid the responsibility. I've seen other people just say, how could you fire like this person? She's a strong leader from the north, Like, you're just avoiding the blame. Some Labour sources are saying it is actually insane that she got the hook when his key aide, Jenny, who I forgot her name, hasn't paid any sort of price. People say this is the cause of some form of civil war and what have you, mate. Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Doman, has warned the parties being too London-centric, and we're going to see a lot of this talk. So you have the more left-leaning Corbyn side of the party, and they've been quite critical of, obviously, Keir Starmer and them. And it's like, is Keir Starmer, are they going to call out the left side of the party for, like, not coming together? What's going to happen? It's going to be interesting, because what I believe we've seen is Labour haven't really stood. It doesn't seem like they stand for anything. It doesn't seem like they have the best interests of the working class, North and the Midlands, whatever you may at best. And this is why they got slapped. So look out for that. There's going to be podcasts on this, videos and whatever on the Labour Party fallout. It's a definite watch this space type situation. And yeah, comment below on your thoughts on this podcast. Make sure you subscribe, share this with your friends, and on to next week. Peace out. Bow.